All righty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys, so we did make a new all-time high today on SPY and QQQ. The NASDAQ and the S&P 500 made a new all-time high today. We're going to start off with the indices. We'll go over the Mag 7 stocks, and then I have a couple of trade ideas at the end of the video just for you. So stay tuned. All right, guys, on the upside, and I do think we're going to continue talking about the upside because I do think that's where we are headed. I think we are probably going to be at 565 tomorrow. So above 562.31 today's high, we're talking 565. On the downside, we have 557.20, 551.56, and underneath there, probably going to revisit previous all-time highs at 540.81. We're not going to talk about that for now. In an uptrend, we have this consolidation. We're probably going to see a bit of expansion go on. You can see how the weekly candle is coming along here. They have a chance to push this thing higher. And at that point, we're breaking up from consolidation. And I do have to assume we can be head straight to 570. All right. So bullish biased until proven otherwise. That's the way to go. You have no reason to do anything otherwise. All right. And moving over here to SPY, we have the same exact thing going on here. On the upside, above 628.40 today's high, we're talking 630. I do think 630 is going to be tested tomorrow. If not tomorrow, early next week. If we pull back tomorrow, it's to be used as a buying opportunity until proven otherwise, guys. All right, and even if we do break down, we're probably just going to revisit previous all-time highs here and then get bought up over here. Okay? Which would be 613.23. Not too far of a fall. So on the upside, 628.40. 630, 632, 635. Those are the levels you're paying attention to. On the downside, we have 62628, 625.16, and underneath there, we risk coming back down to 621.53. Again, on the weekly chart, we have this consolidation going on here. It looks like we're deciding to break up from this range. If we get a bit of expansion tomorrow, maybe we get 632, maybe 635 if it gets real crazy over a percent day. Then you'll have a big week here. We're probably going to follow it up with a decent week next week. Okay? So that's what we got going on. Coming over here to IWM. This also is something that looks like it's going to continue higher. Above 224.23, we're talking 226.14. And you break there, you're probably, it's not going to be long until you're at 227.98. It's right over here. Over to DIA. Again, something that looks like it's going to be breaking up here above 444.87. You got nothing until 448.86, and then all-time highs of 451.55. We told you, if you do not push straight up to all-time highs here on this, once we have that little pullback, if you didn't go straight up to 451.55 and you had a further pullback, it's going to be bought up. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Now we have this bull flag right off the daily 21, right off of 438.70, and it looks like it is starting to break up from that. Probably going to push through the highs here, 448.86, and push up to new all-time highs above 451.55. So this is the indices, guys. Now I'm going to come over here to VIX. After yesterday's, ugly mess of a day we had over there, big old spike, and then you faded into the close. All right, after that, we did continue to fade today. And while I do think this thing goes a bit lower here, I'm just going to remind everybody what we got going on the weekly chart, this big old hot, ugly, stinking mess. All right. It would look pretty weird for this to full-on break down from here. I think it's more likely going to come down to the bottom of the range and continue getting these little bounces for the time being. I think we are in something like this where, we got a little floor in the VIX right now. And, if it does break it, I think it would just sweep in and go back up. But I don't think it's going to happen right now. So I'm going to be completely honest. Does that tell us much? You may think no. But I think yes. It tells us don't expect the indices to go straight up. Expect there to be a spike over here on VIX, which is going to pull back the indices sometime next week. All right, factor that into your thesis. And again, it may not look like much to you, but it tells me a piece of the story. And there, it should tell you a piece of the story. We're probably going to see VIX come down here low of the range, around 16 bucks. I guess I'll have an alert out for over there. All right, 16.10. If that alert gets hit, I'm going to set one right here for a new low. I don't think it's going to get hit. I think we're probably going to hit that first alert, and then we're going to bounce back up. I could be wrong, but you know, 4 back-to-back weeks over here, it looks exactly like the mess you got over here, where it looks like you just hit a floor on the VIX for a while. Same thing over here. Once you had that, you went up before you went down. So I think the indices are going to be going up, but I do want to remind everybody what we pointed out the other day on VIX. Weekly chart looks a mess, probably not going anywhere anytime soon, which means we're probably not going to be, you know, having that next leg lower. We'll see. Maybe I'll be wrong. I could be wrong. It can happen. All right, coming over the Mag 7 stocks, guys. I'm going to still say they look a bit iffy, but some of them are starting to really shape up here. GOOG, it looks like it's going to be a breaking above 185.41 tomorrow and pushing 188.71. I don't know if it happens all in one day, but that would make a whole lot more sense to me than seeing this be, you know, a small weekly candlestick or boom, you have another low wick on the week. It would just make a whole lot of sense. See this thing expand to the upside. Maybe we're talking 188 tomorrow. That is good. Coming over here to Amazon. Now, this is one of the ugly ducklings over here that's really not doing all that much, but hey, who's to say this guy can't participate in the rally? We'll see what happens, all right? Maybe he gets a crazy move tomorrow and push all the way up to 230. Who freaking knows? All right, I'll tell you, weekly chart, you've been in, you know, consolidation here. I wouldn't expect all that much from this guy, but you've been in consolidation. On the upside, you're watching 225.86, 227.27, 228.84. Downside, you have yesterday's low, 222.18. Underneath there, you're coming back down to 218.40. Sorry. Been a bummer over here on Amazon. He sends his regards. Yeah, he's a little sick at the moment. That's about it. That's what he's saying. All right, NVIDIA probably going to continue pushing up. You know, I told you yesterday, no, it's not something that's screaming by me. I know it's uncomfortable, you know, to long these things. It hasn't really had much of a pullback here this whole time. All right, I understand, but it's not something to be sure in. All right, we were consolidating here. Okay, it was bullish consolidation. We could tell by, you know, how yesterday's daily candle printed. We could also see it on the 4-hour chart. It looked like it was, you know, a little rounded out bottom kind of thing. Just something like that, which normally comes with a leg up. I do think that leg up is going to extend a little bit more tomorrow. Today's high was 174.16. I think we're probably going to hit the 175 psych level. I don't know if 180 tests before a, you know, decent sized pullback, but it's definitely on the table considering this weekly candle is also a monster, and who's to say this monster doesn't go a little bit higher next week? Could bring it straight to 180. Apple, all right, still in this consolidation, guys. If you can break above 212.40, this thing is probably going to start pushing above 212.40. We're really talking 214.56, 216.23, and then 219.38. Microsoft started breaking up. I told you it was only a matter of time till the beast wanted to test 510. It tested 510. We got that alert hit today, and guess what? It made a high of 513.37. Congrats. Thanks for playing. I actually did look at I looked at what the weeklies went. Oh, they went a clean 400, 500% today. Congrats if anybody was listening to over here on Microsoft. Again, it's like NVIDIA. You know, it's not the most comfortable thing in the world. It's been, you know, just having these little consolidations and breaking up. It seems like it hasn't pulled back in a hot minute. It's been months. Okay, it's uncomfortable. But at the same time, it's just like Roblox. It's clear as day, probably going to be breaking up from that range. And who knows, maybe has a 16 freaking point move after it has had absolutely no pullback here the whole entire time. 4 months, Roblox, maybe it's going to all-time highs. Maybe 140, 160 is coming before any major pullback. Maybe it's going to happen. Congrats if you've been playing Roblox. Okay, but back over the Mag 7 stocks, guys. We're talking Apple. We're not talking Apple. We're talking Microsoft. Broke up to a new high. Probably going 515 tomorrow. Above 515, you're watching 520. Tesla, guys, the day of consolidation above 325.58, you have 335.50. That's all you're concerned about. Above there, bigger move happens because you have nothing until 357.54. On the downside, 314.74, you lose that. You're losing the daily 21 again. And boom, bop, ping, boop, pow, you find yourself back down at 304.05 pretty quick. Meta, all right, bounced off of the 699.05 gap fill. All right, for the second day now, if you can recover 708.87, I'd say play it safe. If you could take out yesterday's high at 713.97, it's probably going to start its move back up to 728, 737.53, and then all-time highs at 747.90. Those are the Mag 7 stocks, guys. I'm just going to feature a little guy here, AMD. I think AMD is going to keep going higher. I think it's coming up to 167.51. There you go. There's AMD. All right, let's go over some trade ideas just for you. First things first, Bitcoin. I don't know if it's going to recover this weekly candle this week, but I think it is. All right, I think that is the likely scenario that this thing does end up pushing back up to the highs. We have ourselves a good time into the end of the week. Now, the daily time frame, you're just kind of bullishly consolidating here. You pulled back, reverted to the mean, pulled back to your moving averages here. All right, if it could pop back above 120K convincingly, it's probably going straight up to 123,236, and it's going to break down and go to 125K. All right. I don't know if it's going to need that to move. I don't know, but coin is probably going to get up to all-time highs either tomorrow or it happens early next week, 429.54. It's looking like a monster. It finally broke up from that consolidation. I was telling you it was only a matter of time. It did end up happening today. 429.54 incoming. All right. And then we're talking 450. But the one I want to focus on, and the one that, I think is going to give us way more benefit here, way more reward, I should say, going to be MSTR, guys. MSTR above 457.22. Yesterday's high. We're talking 470 to 480. It can happen tomorrow. We don't know. All right. But I think it can. I think the little boy over here is about to extend his freaking legs and about to become a man. And this weekly little baby candlestick about to become a man candlestick. 470, 480. Maybe on the table tomorrow. If it does not happen tomorrow, we're going to 500 next week. Regardless, I think 500 comes next week. But 470, 480 early on next week. Maybe pull back, then go to 500, or you go straight to 500. Not really sure, but you do have this tight little 4-day base going on at this point. 15-point range on the upside. Break above 457. Guys, minimum target here. We're talking 473. But I'm thinking this thing goes more than that 15 points. I think you're about to hit it with a 30 to 50 point move up. And I think if it aligns with Bitcoin, break it back up to the highs, maybe it happens over the weekend. Maybe it's going to start that move tomorrow. I don't know, but I think that's how things are shaping up. Tomorrow could be a big day. Put it on your radar. MSTR should be top focus, okay? But I got something else that's also top focus currently. QBTS. I gave it to you yesterday before the breakout. I've been talking about it. I gave it to you in the weekly update when we were still sitting right there, and you could have bought it if you wanted to right off the open. Regardless, all right? I gave it to you in yesterday's video, and I said above 1754, we're likely moving straight up. All right, 1895 and then 1977 current all-time high. Guys, I think we caught a ripper. All right, we caught a ripper. At this point in time, we push straight up to 1977. We have a high of day of 1953. Tomorrow, guys, a breakout is likely to come. I don't know if you're going to pull back tomorrow or not, but I'll tell you it's a buying opportunity. We have nice volume coming into the thing, increasing volume on this big move. As the candles get bigger here, the volume's getting bigger. I like what I'm seeing, and I think we probably are going to hit it with at least a 1-2 and have another big day tomorrow. If it just so happens to pull back, I think it's something like that that'll be a gap down, and then boom, it gets bought to the highs and has itself a big day. But quite frankly, guys, I think on the break of 1977, this thing goes 22 right away, and maybe we push 25. At this point in time, from today's close, I'm just saying this thing can have a 10 to 20% day tomorrow, and a 10% day brings it to 21.5 just about. That's like a 12% day, and a 20% day brings it to $23. Who's to say this thing doesn't have a ripperoonie tomorrow? Not me. I think it might happen. All right. Regardless, you have a beautiful bull flag setup, breakout going on here. The thing's ready to expand here. You have all this consolidation going on. It's ready to go up. Maybe it doesn't happen tomorrow, but it's probably going to happen next week if it doesn't happen tomorrow. So put it on the radar. Something that I think it's about to go a little crazy. It's gone a little crazy in the past, and I think it's just about to go a little crazy again. You see what happened over there? You see what happened over here? What about here? All right. It's about to do it again, except I think it's about to do it decently bigger than what you had over here. Let's see what we get. All right. Next one we're talking is TOST. I talked about it yesterday. I'll talk about it today again. The thing wants to move up. It broke out today. You had the gap and you filled the gap, not the gap and go. I tricked you. You thought I was going to say you had the gap and go. No, you had the gap and crap, and then the gap and recover. All right. And, you still are up 3.28% on the day. I think this thing wants $50 above 47.46. We're talking $50. I think it's going to pull back into today's wick tomorrow. But we have one heck of a setup. We have so much consolidation going on. 2 months of range. The range itself is 5 points. All right, it's 4 points, but if you include this low over here, now it makes a 5, but you know, we'll call 4. All right, well, 4 points up, guys, it brings you almost to 50 bucks. So we're just going to say $4.50. We're going up from the breakout level at 46.57. By that, I mean 45.56. We're going up. We're testing 50 bucks. Probably going to happen early next week. Maybe it goes 55. This thing has been consolidating for a long time. This little leg over here was 10 bucks. We're going to go 10 bucks from here. We're going 52. All right, 53. That's TOST. Sound. I talked about it before I had this move over here. It started pulling back. I know you guys got worried. I understand. I'm not going to talk about something and something is, you know, not holding this breakout here. I'm a breakout trader. I'll tell you continuously what's hot. All right. If I don't talk about something, guys, just understand I'm still watching the stock. Okay. You just got to wait. I'll talk about it again when it makes sense to. I'm not going to, let's just look at it this way. I give no financial advice. Okay. No financial advice, but I'll tell you, I know for a fact people are making money and they're taking trades based off some of the stuff, all the stuff we're talking about in these videos. I'm not going to talk about something that I don't think is worth the time. I'm not going to put it on anybody's radar if it's not going to be moving. It's not my style, okay? I want you guys to make money, all right? So if you're one of those people who's like, oh, what about this? What about this? You didn't mention it today. There's a reason, okay? There's a reason. I'll always put your attention, all right, on what you should be focusing on. And if something's not heating up, it's not heating up. People were asking me about it on this day right here. You got no business doing so. It's pulling back. You don't need me to tell you. It's pulling back, reverting to the mean. It's reverting to the mean. And then when it comes over here, guys, you also don't need me to tell you. It's off the 21 EMA. But I told you about it yesterday in yesterday's video. Why? Because it looked like it was setting up for a little pop. So I said above 1188, yesterday's high. We're talking 1265. What happens? As a little gap up, you could have traded it. But what happened? Henry over here, I didn't put it on your radar over here. I put it on your radar right here. Right here after this candle. What happens the next day? Pop. All right? Then what happens? I don't talk about it for these days. I just don't. Why? Because it's not hot. It's not set up for us. All right? We got no business. We got like 5 to 10 other A+ setups. We're going to focus on the other stocks. All right? What happens? I don't tell you about it right here. I tell you about it right here. Why? Because you have 2 back-to-back hammers. All right, off the 21 EMA. So, yeah, we're just going to start looking for a pop. All right, I watch stocks when they're moving, not when they're not moving. If you find yourself being someone who's asking a stock, and I'm already not, like, if it's something we mentioned and now it's cooling off, don't ask about it. All right, like you can if you want. I'll probably give a response, but let's be completely real about it. All right, I got your best financial interest in mind, no financial advice. Don't put yourself in messy situations. I got your back. Sound. We're looking for a breakout above 1342. That brings you to 1535. Weekly chart suggests this thing. Oh, if it's going to be like it's ran in its past. Oh, it could turn into a ripper. I think we definitely got a setup. We got this little inverse head and shoulders kind of pattern going on here. And I think we're about to start that next little leg up. I think this could turn into maybe a big end of the week tomorrow. Maybe we hit it with the 20-30% day. Or we're talking to move up 1535 next week and we hit it with that nice 20% move next week. We'll see what happens. Okay? But that's what I'm thinking. 20% move up to 1535 on the table. APP. I put it on your radar when it was much lower. By that I mean when it was dipping down. I've talked about it the last few days. Above 361.76. It finally broke out. I'm excited, okay? Daily cloud started flipping back to bullish. What happens? Good things. Good things. You at least get another couple days of pop there. I'm thinking you're going to get a little bit more than a couple days of pop here. I think you might be pushing back up to the highs. But in the short term, here's the trade idea. Above 361.76. There's nothing until 380.70. It's likely going to make them a move pretty quick. That could happen as early tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, early next week. Keep it on the radar. Target. It's shaping up here. We got a base breakout, technically a base break and retest, pull back to the 21 EMA. I think it's getting ready for another impulsive little leg up right here. Above 105.97, we're talking 108.76. Now, to give some updates on some stocks we're already watching and in. OKLO, guys. Yes, we're going up to all-time highs. Probably going to be happening next week. You know, bada bing, bada boom. Miss the stars is a step in the room. I don't know. That's not how that goes. But either way, OKLO's going into the stars. It's going above 73.55. It's likely going to 80. We'll talk about 90 when it gets there. and then 100. Okay, but real talk, this thing just got done with a bunch of consolidation here. Technically, this is all like a month and a half of consolidation. Technically, you barely got to move from all of this. Two weeks of consolidation, barely got to pop up to new all-time highs there. So we'll call it all 1.5 months of consolidations breaking out from right now. Likely going to bring a much bigger move than what we got currently going on here. $23 pullback right there. You know, add that on top. We're almost at $100. Real talk, I think $80 can be coming next week. The thing is a monster. The thing is seeing all little dips get bought up. And I do think it's going to continue getting bought up. Keep it on the radar. ASTS, this is one where all dips are going to be bought. This is one I gave you early on. We were sitting down here. If it gets above 48.32, probably going to be pushing up to this next area, which was at 50.38. Now, I'm just going to say, I also told you that if it's going to be a trending week, it's going to probably have its range above 25%. Why? Because all of these other ones were above 25%. All of these, most of these, but the trending ones, this is what I'm concerned about, okay? Well, it was. As of today, we have a 30% range on the week. Why? Because we had a 10% freaking day. All right, real talk, congrats. I'll hit this for you.
That was easy.
Congrats if anybody banked off of over here on ASTS above 48.32. You knew it was likely heading back up to 54.05, and then above there you're talking 55 and then $60. I think $60 might even, it might come tomorrow. It probably won't, and it'll probably come early next week. That's ASTS. All right, but real talk, guys, MSTR is going to have itself a big old move. Okay, so keep that on the radar. SMCI. It's taking a chill pill, but I want to point out how it's looking on the weekly and monthly charts. Monthly time frame, guys. The monthly candle is not expanded. The monthly cloud just flipped back to bullish. We just broke out of consolidation here. Why is this monthly candle so small? It doesn't make sense that we're going to expand it to the downside, but it does to the upside. We only have, 1.5 weeks left. Technically, it's almost 2, but we'll say 1.5 weeks left. Regardless, I think we expand that monthly candle to the upside. We're breaking out of this big old base. 50.61 was the neckline. It looks like we're going to get the weekly close above it tomorrow. And I think we're probably going to push 60 next week. All right, at least 56.19. But I think this is probably going to keep trekking higher. And I think it is only a matter of time until it actually has an impulsive move because, honestly, we got a big old base breakout here, a crap ton of consolidation right underneath the base neckline, and then we're consolidating at the base neckline. I'm going to be honest. It's destined to have this impulsive move, and I think it happens before month's end because, again, tiny little baby monthly candle expanded to a man candle. There you go. All right? We'll talk about SOFI right now, guys. I think it's going higher. You want the opinion on SOFI? I think it's going higher. I think it's just like over here. We're in this impulsive move. I've talked about it a few times. I talked about it when it was breaking up over here. Then I talked about it when it's somewhere over here, saying it's probably going to highs. Now I'm going to be honest, there's not really going to be a setup. I told you guys how it'd be. It's something that real talk is just going to keep getting bought up. Why? Because we've seen it happen before. It's probably going to happen again. You have the same scale sized breakout kind of move here going on. This was actually a break and retest. Look at the monthly chart. Look at this monthly chart right here. Absolutely gnarly. It's going to all-time highs. 28.26. I know. It's only at 22. Henry, you're crazy. I know. But that's where it's going. Not saying right now, but honestly, within a few months, if this thing wants to just keep pushing straight up by end of next month, that actually can be a reality. More, it pushes up. It's probably going to at least 24.65. It's probably getting up into this area and testing the supply up here. All right. And then maybe, just maybe, we see it do this crap again, just like it did over here. It's either going to go something like this, or you're just not going to pull back and you go straight to all-time highs. I'm really not sure. But that's going to be what happens. I don't think we're going to get any sizable pullbacks here unless it's going to happen around this 24.65 area. I think 23 is probably about to be hit because you just broke out from this little range going on here. That was 1.4 points. All right. Well, where does that bring you up to? We're talking 23, 23.20 up there. SOFI is going to keep going up. Shop, a little update on this trade idea over here, guys. You got the breakout and you erupted. And now it's going to 129.38 probably tomorrow. The thing's going nuts. I think the thing might break out above 129.38 and it might have another big move is all I'm getting at. But I'm also not sure about it because maybe the big move wants to happen off of earnings. I'm really not sure. But I'll tell you right now, you break 129.38. I imagine this thing is probably going to go 135, maybe 140. But yeah, that's just a little update on this. We were watching this range. All right. This was actually on the focus list. This is something that, yeah, we were watching. It went a bit freaking crazy over here. And it didn't just go to 124 today. It went to 120, almost 129.38, guys. It's like 1% away. 2% away. Pardon me. All right. Next one we're talking about, Hood. All right. Hood ended up breaking up from this range. Guess what? It did not hit 110 yet. It can happen tomorrow. If not tomorrow, early next week. I think that is where this thing has a date. All right, guys. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. All I ask on these videos is that you leave a like. All right. That's all I ask. I put a lot of work into them. It's the only thing that's going to speak to the YouTube algorithm. I wish I could call it up and tell them, hey, can you pay more attention over here so we get more eyeballs over here so, you know, the channel grows a little bit faster. But no, it's you guys who could speak to it. So I ask that you do speak to it and you do hit that like button. I do greatly appreciate it. I really do. And other than that, guys, if you want to come trade with me, I'm live every day. You know, we'd be killing it. And link is going to be down below for that. And other than that, guys, I hope everybody has a lovely rest of their evening. And I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.